Hello everyone, welcome back once again. Today we are looking at a preview of the Delhi Capitals. And before we begin the video, if you do like my videos, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content. Delhi Capitals, a team that's seen more downs than ups. They've had their fair share of wooden spoon holders. They've been at the bottom of the table for most part of the IPL. Last year was a nice year for them. They were able to qualify for the playoffs after around 7 years. What is in store for Delhi Capitals? They've had rebranding done among within themselves. They've rebranded themselves. Ownership has changed. Multiple captains. They've gone in for youngsters. They've gone in for a lot of overseas players. Somehow, somewhere, they've never been able to combine everything and perform in such a way that they would really be contenders. Could 2020 be the year? Do they have a squad for it? How is the coaching staff? They've assembled perhaps one of the good squads. Now, before we get into the best 11, let's have a look at the squad for Delhi Capitals.
So let's look at how the Delhi Capitals squad is for IPL 2020. At first glance, what can clearly be seen is that they've got a very solid Indian core. Delhi Capitals have been smart enough to trade and get Ajinkya Rahane and Ashwin into their squad, lends in a lot of depth in the Indian contingent and in the batting and the bowling lineup. They've beefed up their stocks there. They've got a very good, healthy overseas recruit. They've got someone like Kagiso Rabada, who's the main man from a bowling perspective. They've also got in Shimran Hetmaya. He's known to blow hot and cold. Would he be given a good run here? Chemo Paul has been consistent for them. He's been doing well. They've also got someone like a Sandeep Lamichane who's coming off a fairly decent run. Overall, with a good Indian contingent, a strong backup, a decently sized overseas contingent, Delhi has perhaps rendered themselves a good balance this time than ever before. This actually puts them in a pole position to say that we can field 11 even without any of the overseas players. And they've also got a plethora of options in the bowling lineup in terms of slow bowlers, both and leggies and offies. They've got a well balanced squad. We'll have to see how they go forward in this year's IPL.
Now that we've seen the squad of the Delhi Capitals for this year's IPL, what could be the best 11? Now, as we saw in the squad, you're looking at a very strong Indian contingent. The top five for Delhi will actually be all Indians there. Prithvi Shaw and Shikhar Dhawan to open the batting. I think Prithvi Shaw this year has to not just play those 20s or 30s, he needs to go beyond that. A 40 or a 50 in the first 5 or 7 overs could actually set the platform for the later part of the innings so that all the other batsmen can explode. Shikhar Dhawan should just carry on from where he left. A slightly increased strike rate would have helped given that he's a free flowing stroke maker. At number three, I would want Ajinkya Rahane there. You might ask that he's not having a good strike rate. He's known to play well, he accumulates runs, but will he be able to tonk the ball? It's not necessary. You need a player like Ajinkya Rahane to stabilize and bring that calming influence in the batting order. You look at the batting order, you've got a lot of stroke makers. So Ajinkya Rahane there would at least help in giving direction to that batting order. You follow Ajinkya Rahane with Shreyas Iyer, the captain. He's a very good batsman. He's been consistent. He's had a good international career in the last year or year and a half. Missed the bus for the World Cup, but I think he's still there for the Indian team and for Delhi. He's the all important player there. Who follows Shreyas Iyer? Now, it goes a bit random here. I'm compelled to play Rishabh Pant at number 5. Purely being Rishabh Pant, we all know what a talent he is. All he needs is a calmer head on his over his shoulders. If he can just cut down on his impatience, he can actually be the finisher that everyone in the country wants him to be. He needn't be a next someone. He can be the next Rishabh Pant in himself. And this is perhaps the best opportunity for him to have a watershed moment in this year's IPL. What's going to be very important is not just the runs that he accumulates, but the timing of those runs, the impact that he can get in there. Following Rishabh Pant would be Chemo Paul, the all-rounder. His slow off-cutters, slow leg cutters come in very handy, and he can also play well. He can be a very useful batsman at the depth. So this makes a very solid top six for Delhi. Number 7 and number 8, I'm tempted to play Akshar Patel and R. Ashwin. Akshar Patel has an all-rounder ability. He bowls well. He's done decently well. He's not been that bad. He's not been that great. Could be a good platform for him to have a good 10 to 14 stretch of games in this year's IPL. Ashwin has a lot of things to prove. He's captained the Kings 11 Punjab earlier. He's a very tactful thinker. He's a master tactician. He knows how to set up batsmen. You're looking at Ashwin bowling through the power play. At number 8, he can also come in and get those handy 10 to 12 runs there. So Ashwin at number 8. Number 9 has to be Kagiso Rabada. I think Rabada is the fulcrum of the pace bowling attack for Delhi Capitals. It's around him that all the other bowlers will have to just complement him. He's one solid bowler. He's coming off a fairly decent layoff. It's good that he won't have any niggles and he'll be right there from get go to prove a point there. Who will accompany Rabada at the bowling? Ishan Sharma is my main man for that. He's coming off an injury. There are scares that he might not play or he might play, but if he's fit, he has to play there. He's had a decent IPL last year. He tends to leak runs at the death, but with his experience, I'm sure he'll have a better IPL here. He can be very much a perfect foil for Kagiso Rabada. At number 11, my temptation is to play Sandeep Lamichane. He's a player who's flying under the radar. He's very economical. I just get a feeling that Ashwin and Lamichane could be a wonderful combination to play with in the power play. It might sound a bit left field, but you never know. These can actually give Delhi a lot of dividends over the course of time. How can they balance it off? Well, if they need to extend the batting lineup, I think Lamichane can go off and you can have in Marcus Stoinis coming in there. In case they want a pure batsman there, you can replace Lamichane with Shimran Hetmeyer. A day where Kagiso Rabada just wants to take his off, you can have Andrik Notkia coming in there. So Delhi is more or less sorted on that front in terms of man-to-man replacements at the overseas level. At the domestic level, you've got Avesh Khan who can come in there. He's a nice bowler. You've got Mohit Sharma who can come in with the slow back of the hand deliveries. So they've got their bases covered. This year could be the year for them to say that we made it to the playoffs last year. Can we go two steps further and take the title? They've got a solid Indian core, a think tank that can do wonders for them. If they can themselves just align themselves there with a good sense of direction, this year could well be the year where Delhi say that we are here to win our first trophy. All the best, Delhi Capitals.